Hi, everyone. Can I get a little more love? Hello, everybody. Hi. Thank you. Happy New Year. Oh my God, we're in 2024. Can you believe it? Can you just turn to the person next to you and say, Happy New Year, I'm so glad you're here. I'm taking all the power in the smarts and the beauty in this room. I want to start by acknowledging that we are on the occupied territory in the lands of the Ramatush Ohlone people, and just to give thanks to their stewardship over generations and their ongoing leadership to help us who are guests on this land to be here as good guests, to be here in right relationship with the land, with the water, with each other. So I just want to acknowledge where we are and introduce myself. My name is Aryeh Shell, use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of the Climate Action Training Program in Global Partnerships at Pachamama Alliance. And what we do is mobilize people and educate people about the crisis that we're in, but also the role that we have to shift the direction, to move us into a life-sustaining society. And each one of us has a role to play. And so we provide trainings to help people wake up out of the trance that we've been in, and to find our place in the web of life, to bring forward our medicine, to bring forward the gifts that we have. And so we try to inspire folks, and then we train people to be able to take action for climate justice in their communities, to deepen in our connection with the earth, and to take a stand for a just and sustainable world. I was brought up in Michigan. Anybody know where Michigan is? Anybody ever been there? So it's in the Midwest, and I was raised by a single mother who worked poverty wages to put me and my brother through school. I was the first girl, the first young woman in my family to go into higher education. And we moved a lot. I went to 10 different schools growing up when, just to put food on the table, to pay rent. My mom would have to change jobs. She worked in McDonald's, she worked in the nursing homes, in a prison, and she sacrificed a lot so that I could go to school, so that I could travel and make a positive impact in the world. And so I've dedicated much of my life to working with girls and women to unleash our potential, because we have power. We have power to transform our world. Did you all know that there were hundreds of researchers in a project, it was called Project Drawdown, and they were looking to identify the top 100 climate solutions that we could engage in. Do you know what educating girls ranked as a climate solution out of 100? 6. It's one of the top 10 climate solutions. Why do you think it's so important for girls to be educated? Why do you think that's linked as one of the top 10 climate solutions? Any thoughts? Do you want to just speak out loud? Yeah.
I would say education is power. So giving girls education is giving them power and voice. So I would say that.
Yes, education is power, right? So when you have knowledge, when you have that power, you can make change in your communities and in the world. What else? Why is it so important? Yes.
I think when women become a leader, she a type of leader that is empathetic. So she's thinking about other people more than herself. So we putting the earth and other people before her own benefit and stuff like that. And also some of them gonna become a mother. She gonna be transform whatever she thinks to her younger generation.
Yes. So women, we have a different type of leadership often, right? And this is not to say that men don't do this either, but there is this way of really caring for the whole, putting those who are most vulnerable, who are going to be most impacted by climate, at the center of the solutions. So women leaders are bringing forth more comprehensive solutions, and also having that long view, right? That our actions are going to benefit future generations. And so keeping that in mind, right? So the type of leadership that's needed now is one that is rooted in empathy, in care, and widening our circle of concern, right? Having power to make choices about our own reproductive health and family planning, right? And also because y'all have skills. We are 50% of the population, and we need your skills. We need the brilliance. We need the innovation. We need the smarts that you all bring to create the kind of jobs that are going to support us to make this transition. So you all are the solution. And she can't invest in girls' education in part because they know that y'all have the power to make the change. So that's why we're here. In this session, we're going to be looking at both the urgency of this moment, but also the opportunity of this moment and what it's going to take for us to make this transition. We talk about sustainability a lot, and I just want to level set with us all and create a shared definition. What does sustainability mean? What does it mean to be able to sustain something? What are we trying to sustain? Have you all heard the term sustainability? What's it mean?
When I think about sustainability, I think about the ability to self-maintain in terms of environment or political or Chica is a good example of sustainability, an organization that finds its way to self-sustain.
That's right, something that lasts over time, right, that sustains over time. And we want to sustain life over time, right? We want to be able to coexist on this earth for a long, long time to come. So we need to be thinking about future generations, thinking with that kind of long-term view. And another way we might put it is sustainability means enough for everyone forever. That we design our world and our solutions so that there is enough for everyone forever. So that's what we're up to today. And this symposium is called Awakening the Dreamer. This was developed in San Francisco, where y'all are at, by Pachamama Alliance in 2005, so almost 20 years ago. And it has gone to over 80 countries, and hundreds of thousands of people have gone through this symposium. So we're going to do a modified version of it. And the purpose is to bring forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence on this planet. So y'all here for that? Yeah? Y'all here for that? Excellent. So we're going to look at how we can do that, what it's going to take, and what role you might play in that. So our agenda, right now we're in the welcome and introduction. We're going to spend a little time looking at where we are, what's the current state of our planet right now, and facing together some of the challenges, environmentally, socially, spiritually, and then look at this new story. And in many ways, it's an old story of understanding our profound interconnectedness with each other, with our planet, and what that makes possible. What is the more beautiful world our hearts know is possible? And what's our role to play? Where do we go from here? So taking a stand, making a commitment to being a leader, not only on behalf of yourself, but on behalf of all life, right? And then we'll close it out. So, Pachamama Alliance started in partnership with the Achuar. That is, Achuar are an indigenous tribe in the Amazon, in the rainforest. So we want to kick off today by taking just a moment for you all to drop in and connect with the spirit of the rainforest in a practice that's inspired by them. So I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes for a moment. And let yourself take in some of these songs, some of the sounds. And opening your heart and your mind to this large web of life. The animals, the insects, the birds. This web of life that we are connected to. These are our kin. The Amazon is often called the lungs of our planet. So let yourself, on your inhale, receive the oxygen that the trees offer to us. And on your exhale, offer that breath back as the trees breathe us in too. And just feel this exchange of life, of giving and receiving breath with the trees. Just taking a moment to feel your gratitude and to give thanks for this life, for this gift of breath. And to know that we're here to develop our capacity as leaders, not only for ourselves, but for all children of all species, for all time. Just taking one more deep breath. And opening your eyes. All right. So who knows what Pachamama means? Did you raise your hand over here? Yes. It's in Quechua language from the Andes, and it means Mother Earth. Right? So we're here on behalf of Mother Earth, and also to remember, we'll be talking more about this, that we're not separate individuals just living on top of the earth. We are the earth. Like our consciousness, our ability to see and to be in awe is the earth's consciousness, self-reflexive consciousness, to see itself. So the earth is our larger body. We're not just walking around on top of it trying to save it, right? It's moving through us. Right, so part of our work is reconnecting to that, right, and to recognize that, again, we have a role to play. And the Achawar, when the founders, Bill and Lynn Twist, went down and met with them, you're going to hear their story in just a minute. They made a request to Bill and Lynn, and they said, your job, if you want to support us to protect the Amazon, which are the lungs of the planet, you need to change the dream of the modern world. And what they mean by that is this worldview, this trance, this dream, this myth that we're in, that we are separate, that human beings are superior to the earth, and that we can consume our world and extract resources without limit, without giving back, without considering the limits of our planet's ecosystem. So this symposium is in service to waking us up. So I want to just share this video that talks a little bit about the origin story of Pachamama Alliance. All right, so that's how Pachamama Alliance got started and how Awakening the Dreamer was born, and from that we've developed other programs that right now we're running virtually. There's the Game Changer Intensive and then our Climate Action Training Program. So we're going to start right now with, where are we? What's the current state of our world and the challenges that we're facing? And as leaders, this can be hard to confront, right? We need to open ourselves to the suffering of our world. We need to open ourselves to the feelings that come up with the losses. But we want to just start by taking a pulse of who's here and some of the concerns you're holding and also what inspires you. So I'm gonna ask everyone to just turn to the person next to you. So find a partner. And if you don't have a partner, if it's not equal, raise your hand and we're gonna match you up. Anybody need a partner? All right. Okay, so with your partner, the person with the shortest hair is going to start. And you're just going to have about a minute and a half, so not too long. And introduce yourself, share your name and country, your school and your major if you know. And then what are some of the concerns that you're holding about our world? And also, what gives you hope? What inspires you? So just high level nugget, minute and a half, and go. All right, and wrapping it up, please thank your partner for sharing and listening. All right, so let's hear from a few of you and just shouting out, what are some of the concerns that y'all are holding about our world right now?
Politics. basically.
Politics.
Overall, yeah. How a lot of people are ambitious about power, and like people of low incomes don't have like this voice and presence in the decisions that countries are making.
That's right. So we've got this power holding, we've got leaders who are not taking into consideration the needs of our communities, right, and the ways that democracies are at risk right now, the partisanship, the division, right? So politics is a deep concern. Thank you. What else? Yeah.
Yeah, so I talked about environmental sustainability, and then she talked about the developing country wanting to develop their country. So it was interconnected. So we were talking about sustainability in two different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
So she said that because they want to develop their country, they're trying to go the shortcut way, where they can do more industrialization by using machineries or some resources that affects the environment. So it was interconnected.
Right. So there's this challenge of developing nations, right, who want to have some of the same comforts and modernization, and yet the impacts of industrialization on our planet are extreme, right? So how do we develop countries in ways that are regenerative, that are sustainable? So bringing those concerns. Thank you. Yeah.
Jan and I, we probably have the same concept because like a lot of people living in this world see the problem, but not enough people to take action. And we just like, we had hope that one day a lot of people, you know, just come forward, do something together and just stop whatever we see the problem. So we like take action, stop being just like, oh, it's impossible. You know, if we come together, we can change something that impossible to possible.
That's right. Thank you. Yeah, some snaps for that. Right? So part of what we're facing is that people are asleep, or they're afraid, or they're overwhelmed. And when we are overwhelmed, people numb out, right? We get distracted, we numb out with addictions, with food, with Netflix, with all the things. Not that there's anything wrong with Netflix, because I myself love some Netflix, but right? But when it shuts us down and disconnects us from our world, right? And our ability, our power, our agency to create change. And what our world needs right now is for us to be awake and engaged. So apathy is another deep concern. Let's hear one more. Yeah.
Chinos Max, Chinos war, violation, crime. We're talking about things we get from children, but things that are going on that are affecting the earth, affecting everyone of us.
That's right. It's affecting all of us, right? So the wars that we're seeing, the genocide, right? So socially, environmentally, we are facing crisis, right? And as we develop our capacity as leaders, part of what you're developing is your capacity to witness, to turn toward the suffering and not away from it, right? To turn toward each other and not against each other, right? And that requires us to open our heart and feel, right? Some of the grief, some of the despair, some of the fear, and let that feeling move through us, but not get stuck there. But when we try to shut it down so we don't feel, right, that's when we go numb, right? So I'm going to show another video, and this one's going to lay out some of the challenges that we're facing. So just as you're watching it, keep breathing and tracking, noticing, like, what are the responses in your body, right? What are the feelings that come up? And to know that we're in it together and we're not going to end here. But it's important for us to look together at some of the challenges. So I'm going to invite us all to close our eyes again if that feels okay for you, or just lower your gaze. There's a lot to take in. And if it feels good to bring a hand to a part of your body, to your belly or your heart, but just taking a moment to notice what's here as you watched that video, as you took in some of the challenges that we're facing. What feelings arise? What are some of the sensations in your body? What emotions move through? Do you imagine this beautiful blue and green planet? Seeing it in your mind's eye as if from space. This planet that has the conditions for life. And life is teeming. It's giving you your existence, and all the experiences you've had have been here on this planet. All the people, all the creatures that have ever lived. Just taking in the challenges, and letting your heart open, giving yourself a chance to feel your love, to feel your grief, maybe your anger, maybe there's numbness. Just noticing what's here. And I'm going to ask you to open your eyes again, and with the same partners that you just shared with, I want you to complete this sentence. When I hear about the challenges of our world, I feel. When I hear about the challenges of our world, I feel, and then complete the sentence. For about a minute and a half each again, so I'll let you know when to switch. So for the person who with the longest hair, you're going to go first. And just keep repeating that sentence. There's probably multiple feelings, so I'll let you know when it's time to switch, and go ahead and begin. All right, how many of y'all have experienced, as you take this information in, some fear? Just raise your hand if fear, if that moves through you. Yeah. How about anger? Yeah, that's also healthy response. Sadness, right? Some overwhelm, right? We got all the feels, and it's important for us to let those feelings move through our bodies so that they don't get stuck, right? When we shut them down, it's not like they go somewhere. They go into our tissues, right? So we got issues in our tissues, right? Our cellular tissues. So we need to be able to feel this and feel it together, right? Because alone we get isolated, we can get overwhelmed. So reaching out to each other to share what's moving through, but then to be able to transform those feelings into care, into love, into action, right? So that's not the end of the story, y'all. Like, that's one part of the story, and things are unraveling, right? Things are collapsing. And there's a new story that's emerging, and that's the story that we're all a part of. And that story is often called the Great Turning. But we're going to see just a little 1-minute recap of what we've heard so far. So there is this new story that's emerging, right, that modern science is catching up with, but that indigenous folks have known for generations.
Countless assumptions that make up our modern industrial.
This new story that's really an old story, right, is rising up. And it changes what we do. It changes how we feel. It changes the decisions that we make, right? If we believe that we're separate, then it's much easier to cause harm, right, and not feel that. When we believe that we're separate, then we need to protect what's mine, right? And we erect our defenses and we get into competition, right? But when we know that we are profoundly interconnected, right, what happens when our circle of concern gets bigger, gets wider? When I know that my well-being is dependent on your well-being, that my liberation is bound with your liberation. So I want you to take a moment with your neighbor and fill in this sentence again. When I remember that everything is connected, I feel, I do, I act, whatever that is for you, when you are grounded in that knowing, what happens from there? So just take a moment, about a minute each, with your partners again. When I remember that everything is connected, All right. Bringing it to a close. And what are some things that are different? What are some things that change when we're grounded in a story that we are connected to everything, that everything is connected? Yeah. We got some. Yeah, let's hear.
I think it gives us hope knowing that all of us are connected and we care about this same problem. So we were talking about hope and care, knowing that all of us are connected. We care about how this is going to impact the rest, the future, and it gives us hope knowing that all of us are connected.
Beautiful. Hope and care. I love that. Anything you want to add? Yeah. All right. Beautiful. So we'll go here, over here, and then over this side. Yes.
So it's like a full assurance that I have people that are there for me. Like, I don't want to do everything on my own. Whenever I'm feeling somehow, I don't have to feel everything on my own. I have people to consult, people to look after me, that I do for them. Yeah.
That's right. We can't do it by ourselves, y'all. That's been the problem, is we've been thinking we're walking around as individuals and that we got to save the planet. No, we do our part, but we're connected, right? So we can rest in that. Be assured. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so for us, it's more like on the other side, like when I see that we are interconnected, that's here because there are more people who are in power, who's getting money from destroying the planet, and they may not want to stop. And whatever they are doing is always going to affect each and every one of us. So it's fear is that they would not want to stop. They are never going to stop, and then I will be affected. The planet is going to be affected. You are going to be affected.
So that comes up too, right? Because our actions have an impact, right? Our actions have an impact, and things are always changing. Change is ever present, right? Our bodies are change is constant. But how do we shape that change, right? And a part of what we need to do in order to stop those who are making those decisions is to build our collective power, right? Not get in that power over struggle, right? Because that's coming from a belief in separation. But when we can draw our strength from the earth in the billions of years of evolution that's moving, that's a lot of power, right? So part of our work is to wake up to that, so that we can build power, and our voices then are stronger, right? To be able to shape the direction that we're moving in. So that's real, and thank you for bringing that, right? Because the fear is real, and the impact we're feeling is because we're interconnected, right? But we also have power to shape the direction we're moving in. Thank you. Yeah.
So like watching this show, it just make me see how like it's a cycle, and as it moves, all of us are kind of like connected, like you said in the video, and whatever like drifts from the top of the cycle, it falls down, and it just continuously moving that cycle. And the longer we kind of like drift apart, the more damages we cause, because if I am doing this thing and I have no love for the people that are there, I'm not going to care about the negative impact that it has on their lives. So I think the basic thing that holds the cycle together is tolerance, love, and realizing that yes, indeed, there are differences, obviously, but there is also love and connectiveness, and there is similarities, and there is hope.
That's right. Thank you. And we it's like what we pay attention to grows. So we need to look at what's challenging, but we need to feed, right, the power of love, right? We need to feed each other in a good way, right? Let's come back over here. And there was somebody who had raised their hand. I don't want to skip over you. Did I miss somebody? Okay. Okay, so we're going to go here and then come right back. Okay, yeah.
I was just talking to Myra that when I remember that everything is connected, it inspires me to take the well-being of everyone, not just myself, not just humans, but our planet as well, into account whenever we make decisions.
That's right. When we know we're connected, our decisions, we need to take into consideration the well-being of others, right? Future generations, as well as all of those that we're connected with.
Yeah, so I was talking with my partner, and we were talking about how when we know that everything connected, we kind of feel more responsible, because we know that every action that we do kind of affects to others as well, and it kind of allows us to emphasize and kind of understand other beings rather than just us.
Yeah, that's right. So with this realization comes some responsibility, right? And that's why you're here as leaders, is to take responsibility, right, for the impact that you have, for the choices that you make, and to support other people to make good decisions, right, so that we all widen our circle of concern.
Well, in my case, I was always taught, I was raised with this way of seeing the world. So for me, everything is connected. I cannot see the world in a different way. It's not
Beautiful.
through this connection. But it's been challenging as well, because I encounter myself with other people that don't think the same. So it's, for me, the challenge is to understand them and try to provide my point of view.
That's right. Thank you. Right? There's the beauty of coming up with that understanding, and then there's a challenge because not everyone, we've been conditioned and socialized, many of us in the modern world, to not understand that, right? And so what is our role? And a part of that is not to like beat somebody into seeing the world as we do, right? But how do we bring our compassion and our understanding for the hurt, the loneliness that story creates, right? Because hurt people, right? Have you ever heard that? Right? So I'm going to keep us moving, but I just want to remind us, and we're going to see some examples, that story was not the only story that's happening, right? And what we want to feed is this new story. It's on. Game on. It's happening, y'all. It's happening all around us. And they often say that the revolution will not be televised, right? We don't see those 2 million organizations on the news. What sells on the news is this, I mean, it's real what's going down, but this is also going down and we don't see it. So we have to look for it. We have to be it. We have to dream it. They say we can't build it if we can't dream it. Right? So we need to exercise and strengthen our muscle to be able to dream into the world that we want to see. So I want you to take a moment in your small groups. Just go around and share what's one thing that is inspiring you and what's one way that you want to participate. What's something that you want to do or what's a passion that you're holding? It's a gift you want to bring forth, a way that you want to engage in this movement. So in your small groups, just take about 30 seconds each, introduce yourself, say your name and your country, and then what's something that's inspiring you, and what's one way that you're going to contribute to this growing movement. So just take about 5 minutes for this. So go ahead. So inside your folders, y'all have one of these. Now, I just would like to propose that anything that has happened in our world, big changes, if I could have everyone's attention, any big change that has happened has been because someone has made a commitment. Someone has taken a stand. And when we take a stand for something, the world begins to organize around that, right? It's like an anchor. When I take a stand for justice, when I take a stand for life, when I take a stand for a world that's rooted in belonging and care, change can come and challenges can come, but I'm more rooted, right? I'm rooted in my commitment to allow my life to be in service to that, right? To something bigger than myself. And y'all are here because you are taking a stand, right? For our world, for your communities, for life itself. So we're going to invite you to take a pledge. If there's no mandatory anything, but it's powerful for us to commit, right? So this says, I am committed to bringing forth an environmentally sustainable, spiritually fulfilling, socially just human presence on this planet. And if you want to make that commitment, you can add your signature. And then there's an additional piece, and this is for us to make a personal pledge for some kind of action, a concrete action that you're committed to taking in the next month and that you're going to continue doing, right? So this might be, I am committed to, I'm going to recycle, or I'm going to eat a more plant-based diet, or I'm going to join that climate justice organization or group at my school. So what's something that you can do? It can be not drinking out of plastic water bottles. It can be something else. But for you, something that you can commit to be the change. So we're not just talking about it, but we are taking action. So write down what that action is for you. And if you've already written down, let yourself just take a moment to feel it. feel your commitment. And what does that feel like in your body when you're committed to something? When you're willing to take a stand for something, to take a risk, to stretch. Because these challenges we're facing are going to require us to make some bold moves, to commit to changes, but those changes are powerful. So in your small group, take another 2 minutes just to share with each other what is the action that you're going to take. And if you haven't thought of one yet, you might want to borrow one from someone that you hear from your sister. So just take a minute to share what are the actions you're committed to taking to be this change, to embody this new story. All right. Bringing it to a close. And let's shout out. Let's hear a couple of the actions. What are y'all committed to? This popcorn.
Working on a farm.
Working on a farm. Yes.
I was talking about with sister in my group because she has a habit of turning off the light when she doesn't use it. So I pledge to turn off the light whenever I don't use it, and also to always use a tumbler.
Yes. Excellent. Yeah, let's give everybody some snaps and claps when you hear the action. Yes, right over here.
So I spent a very long time in shower, but shower twice a day. So
You're gonna love it.
just the shower.
Yes, look at our showers. Yes, over here.
So I'll try to recycle and use less plastic, and I'll try to have one day break from meat per week.
Yes, love it.
So mine is I'm trying to reduce the use of plastics and then trying to reduce the use of peppers as well.
Excellent. Love it.
I'm going to create a channel on campus that will help students exchange things without putting it into there.
Woo! Excellent. Yes, right over here.
Oh, eat more vegetables and probably meat once a week.
A friend of mine who's more aware of social media because I'm into making videos, so I said that I'm gonna do that.
Spreading environmental awareness through social media. Yes, using our voice, amplifying our voice. Did you have your hand up? One more?
Okay. I would like to spread environmental awareness and how it can affect women in general.
Yes. Thank you. All right, y'all. We have one more very short closing video, and then we're going to close it out for our session. All right, y'all. So I'm going to invite everyone to stand up. And I want you just to feel in your body for a moment. Feel your feet grounded and rooted on the earth. Feel the power of the earth coming through you. Feel your heart open. Feel your commitment, the stand that you're taking for life. And we're going to close it out in this way. You are going to have 1 minute, and I'm going to time you. And you're going to find as many other women, other sisters in this room, to look into their eyes and say, you are the solution. They're going to say it back to you, and then you're going to turn to the next person and say, you are the solution. I want you to get to as many people as you can in 1 minute. Go! You got 10 more seconds. Hurry up. Find somebody else. And give the person next to you a hug.
And thank you all.
Okay, I think Aryeh was so great. I feel so proud that we got her here to transform you guys. And I just want to say, remember, this was the first pillar. Remember I talked about the 4 pillars of sustainability,